I always thought that creativity was something that you have or didn't have. Hello, if you're new here, I'm Chrissy. Nice to meet you and welcome back if we've met before. So, as someone who's just left their full-time job, a full-time job as a creative, to be a self-employed creative, I'm learning some new things about what it really takes to be creative. I'm now realizing that I cannot depend on my well of creativity alone, and I might have to do some things to nurture her. I've been in social creative content for the last 6 years. That's spanning from channel management, influencer campaign management, content management to creative producing. And I think when you're constantly in a work cycle of like deadlines, things have to be done quickly and ideas have to be simple enough to turn around quickly, it means that your creativity is very much dependent on deadlines. It's not necessarily being challenged, as most of the time people want things I've done before, especially when it comes to social. And I think when it comes to like the social algorithm, we find that everything tends to look the same. And when you're working towards a deadline, you don't really get that time to nurture a new idea, explain that to a director, or get room to kind of like think bigger. Now, outside of that, I've also been a content creator for a really long time. So my content style has been very much natural. Like, I'm a lifestyle creator. I love just sharing a journey, parts of my life, as opposed to like more quote unquote creative stories, depending on what you define as creative. I guess things are different now because I quit my full-time job I quit my full-time job in August 2024. And since then, I've kind of been exploring what creativity means to me, what I want things to look like, how I want to tell stories visually, and looking at what my long-term career path looks like. And I've been in a place for a while now where I wanted to be more creative and kind of figure out what that looks like. Now, let me tell you, this is one of the most complicated journeys that there is, because I find that creative roles don't have like a set stack of measurements. Like, if you're in finance, there's certain exams that you do. If you're in law, there's certain exams that you do. If you're in business, you can get an MBA. Like, there's certain criterias that you can fit to take yourself to the next level. When it comes to being creative, it's a lot more intangible. So I've been in a place where I've been stuck for a while now, trying to figure out like, how do I get my brain to flip and work? Because I could only think up so many ideas. Then I'd see these really cool projects and I'm just like, why is my brain not going there? Now, I think because I'm now self-employed, my livelihood depends on me being creative and not just regurgitating the same ideas. I have to make sure that that part of my brain is nurtured so that I can keep offering my best. With that being said, I've decided to take matters into my own hands. We are on a creative journey in 2025 to relearn how to be creative again and to treat it more like a discipline as opposed to a thing you either have or don't have. I want to document that journey to being a creative genius. Saying that gives me the ick. It really does. But you know what? You have to give yourself the ick to cross new boundaries. The first step was to start thinking of creativity more intentionally. As I mentioned, it's something that I can hold, it's something that I can feel. I'm starting to make it tangible. I'm gonna have to talk like this to make this make sense to me and to just like give it life. Because the more I think about it as something that's tangible, that's here, that's precious, the better I'll treat it and the more I can like work with this journey. I've signed up to a creative storytelling class, and that starts on the 20th of February and it's 4 weeks long. It's at Central St. Martin, which is meant to be like, I don't know what the like university scope is right now, but it's meant to be like a world famous creative school for like fashion designers, artists, creatives, all of that. So that's a good place to start. It's 4 weeks long. And it's focused on like brand storytelling. So just for context, I work in brand storytelling, and I think as a career path, that's where I want to go. I've wanted to be like a creative art director, creative producer for a very long time. I'm in that field and I just want to make sure I'm nurturing it in that lens. I've asked a friend of mine who has a creative marketing agency that I freelanced for before if I can sit in to brainstorms for like any other pitches that they have coming up. So for context, because I work in social, I tend to be like further down the funnel when I receive a brief. Like, the marketing's already decided, the creative's already decided, the key messaging's already decided, and I'm at the point where we're kind of like telling the world on social, which means that when it comes to the beginning of the idea, I don't really get a say in how things should be done because there might be like a wider campaign at play that's already out there. And because I've always seen things in the land of like social, I haven't had to think about like the billboards or what the key messaging is and all that. So I want to sit somewhere where I'm forced to think differently, think a little bit, I guess, bigger beyond my screen. And also just like absorb people who think differently, who have a different discipline, but are still creatives. I'm actually doing that today. Step 3, when it comes to being creative, you have to have a certain level of willing to let go-ness that I honestly don't have. Like, I'm very much like put together. I'm very much like, I'm a bit calmer in nature, which means that I think before I speak, I think before I act, not in a way that like procrastinates me for a long time, but I'm just not like a go forth and figure it out later, which means that I feel like there's a certain part of my creativity that's being blocked because I don't fully know how to let go. So I was thinking about this on my drive home and I was like, I should sign up to a dance class. Like, what better way to be free than to have to like dance in front of strangers that you've never met before? And I think that will help me like unlock a level of don't caredness, if that's even a word, and allow me to just like think more freely as opposed to constantly thinking within the box of like what I've thought in before. And it's something so new to me that it will take a different set of muscles, brain muscles, rhythm muscles, confidence muscles to kind of get this done. So I think that might help, but that was just a thought. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it might have to become real. But like, that's where I'm thinking. Something to just like free me up a little bit more. So that's as far as I've gotten with this. But I'm really excited to take matters into my own hands as opposed to just like thinking all the time. Like, I would just want to do things to see if it will help take my creative ideas to like new heights. Let's call it that. And let's see where we go. So with that being said, welcome to episode 1 of How to Be More Creative. And we'll go on this journey together and see if by the end of it, I'm actually more creative. If you want to see more of this, like, comment, subscribe, all of that. And I will see you guys on episode 2 of How to Be More Creative. I don't know if that's even a good title, but that's why we're here, trying to figure out how to be more creative. Thank you. Okay, bye guys.